Have you ever noticed how your own thoughts can become a prison? You wake up and before your feet touch the ground, worries flood your mind. Yesterday's mistake plays again. Tomorrow's fears stack higher. Soon you're trapped inside your own head, watching life pass by through a narrow window. This story matters because freedom begins the moment we understand how our minds work. Today, I'll share an ancient insight that changed everything for one man. And at the end, you'll discover a single gesture you can use anytime, anywhere to break free from mental loops. Let's step into his world. Now, there was a young man named Cale who lived in a valley surrounded by hills. Every morning he woke before dawn to tend his small garden. His hands knew the soil well. Life moved simply around him. Neighbors greeted each other. Children played near the stream. Seasons turned without hurry, but inside Cale's mind, chaos reigned. He worried about everything. When he planted seeds, he wondered if they would grow. When they grew, he feared the rain wouldn't come. When rain came, he dreaded floods. Each thought led to another, spinning endlessly like a wheel that never stopped. His body moved through the day, but his mind stayed trapped in circles of doubt and fear. One afternoon, exhausted from sleepless nights, Cale sat by the stream, watching water flow over smooth stones. An old woman approached, carrying a bundle of reeds on her back. She moved slowly but steadily, her eyes bright with awareness. Cale had seen her before in the village, though she rarely spoke to anyone. "You look tired, young man," she said, settling beside him on the grass. Cale nodded. "I can't stop thinking. My thoughts never rest. They chase each other like dogs after their own tails." The woman smiled. "I know that trap well. I lived inside it for many years." "You did?" Cale turned to face her, surprised that someone so calm could understand his turmoil. "Oh yes," she replied. "When I was younger, I lost someone very dear to me. Afterwards, my mind became a dark room where I replayed every moment, searching for what I could have done differently. I asked myself the same questions 1,000 times, but answers never came. The room grew smaller each day." Cale leaned forward. "How did you escape?" The old woman reached into her bundle and pulled out a single reed. "Watch," she said, placing it on the water surface. The current caught it immediately, carrying it downstream. They watched in silence as it floated away, turning gently with the flow until it disappeared around a bend. "Your thoughts are like that red," she explained. "They come, they pass, but you grab each one, examine it, hold it tight. You carry bundles of old reeds on your back until you can barely walk." "But these aren't just reeds," Cale protested. "They're real problems, real fears." "Are they?" The woman's eyes sparkled. "Tell me your biggest worry right now." "I'm afraid my garden will fail this season. If it does, I'll have nothing to trade at the market. I'll disappoint my family." "Has your garden failed yet?" "No." "Then this fear lives only in your imagination. You're suffering over something that hasn't happened and might never happen. You're trapped inside a story you're telling yourself." She picked up another reed and held it between her fingers. "Watch what happens when I don't let go." She gripped the reed tightly as the water rushed past. Her hand remained fixed, fighting the current, muscles tensing. "This is what you do with every thought. You hold on, you resist, you fight. Meanwhile, the river of life keeps flowing, but you're frozen in one spot." The woman released the reed. It bobbed once, then floated peacefully away. "Now watch what happens when I let go." Cale sat very still, feeling something shift inside him. "But how do I let go? My mind keeps grabbing." "I'll teach you," she said. "Stand up." Cale rose to his feet. The woman stood as well. "Close your eyes," she instructed. "Now clench your fists as tight as you can. Squeeze harder. Feel how much energy that takes. Feel the tension in your arms, your shoulders, your jaw." Cale's whole body tightened as he gripped his hands into tight balls. His breath grew shallow. That's what happens when you hold on to thoughts. Your whole being contracts. Now take a deep breath and open your hands slowly. Let your fingers spread wide. Feel the release. As Cale opened his hands, warmth flooded his palms. His shoulders dropped. His breath deepened. Something that had been clenched inside his chest suddenly loosened. "This is the gesture of release," the woman said softly. "Whenever you notice yourself trapped in mental circles, do this with your hands. Let it remind your whole self to release, to stop gripping. Your body will teach your mind." "That's it?" Cale asked. "That's everything," she replied. But you must practice. The mind is stubborn. It's been gripping for so long. It thinks that's its job. You must teach it a new way again and again with patience. What if the worries come back? They will. Thoughts always return. That's their nature. But you don't have to carry each one. Let them float by like reeds on water. Notice them. Acknowledge them. Then release. Open your hands. Breathe. Return to this moment right here. Before she walked away, the woman added, "The mind trap isn't created by thoughts themselves. It's created when we believe every thought is true, when we think. Every worry deserves our complete attention. Some thoughts are just old habits, echoes from the past, or shadows of what might never be. You don't have to live inside every story your mind creates." For the first time in months, Cale felt space inside his chest. He looked down at his open palms and slowly closed them, then opened them again. Release. That evening, as Cale lay down to sleep, the familiar worries began their nightly parade. But this time he didn't fight them. Instead, he opened his hands and took a slow breath. He imagined each worry as a reed floating past on dark water. One by one, they came and went. Sleep came easier that night than it had in years. Days passed. Cale practiced the gesture dozens of times each day. Slowly, the mental loops began to loosen their grip. He discovered something unexpected. When he stopped fighting his thoughts, they lost their power. Months later, Cale saw the old woman again. "You've been practicing," she said. "Every day," Cale replied. "The trap still appears, but now I see the door." "That's all any of us can do," she said. "Notice the trap. Choose the door. Open our hands. Return to now." Life becomes much simpler when we stop living in the prison of our own making. The mind trap waits for all of us. It whispers that every thought must be examined, every worry solved, every fear fought. But Cale learned a secret you can use right now. When you feel caught in mental loops, simply open your hands. Let your fingers spread wide. Take one deep breath. This small gesture reminds your whole being to release. Practice it when you wake, when you work, when you rest. Remember, you're not your thoughts. You are the vast sky where thoughts appear and disappear. Open your hands. Breathe. Begin again.